You love that?
Valhalla! Spinning around in this current doesn't do it for me anymore. It's dragging me down. It's dragging me down. All of your reasons that made me miss, I can't just say my go. Crazy, I'm gone. Sometimes I'm good. Right now I'm not.
All right, y'all, we just pulled up to Sony Music Studios, and I got Wayne with me.
What's up? What's good? What's goody? What's good?
Wait, what we about to do today?
Okay, so we're about to do a Q&A, perform, eat some good food, talk to each other, have a good time.
And you're going to record a song, too, right?
I'm going to record a song.
Hey, we're going to learn everything that we can from you.
Oh, thank you. Listen, it's crazy. I'm happy. I'm happy you're here.
Yes, me too. Let's get it.
My setup process for a session like this is getting all the backline together, getting all the mics together. We're doing monitors, front of house, multi-track, all just in Pro Tools. So it's like pretty simple. I would just do the same setup I would like if it was just a recording day. And then we're running IEMs. So on all my buses for my drums and vocals and all that kind of stuff, I have sends to everybody's mix so they can get like their regular monitor experience. And then for front of house, I think the main thing that's tricky here is just getting like it with no feedback. So really the starting point is getting the PA as loud as I can get it for the room, then getting the vocals as loud as I can get it in the room before feedback, and then kind of mixing around it because the lead vocal mic is right next to the mains. I don't have any, EQs to do anything separate. It's just kind of all one big mix. So
here at Sony, we're so proud to be able to power both the pro side of the music journey as well as the consumer side with our professional studio microphones and headphones for the creation process to our consumer headphones where fans get to then experience it the way that the creator intended them to hear it. Our WH-1000X Mark VI headphones does use the same technology that we use in our M1. So every nuance, you'll hear it the same way that everybody in the studio heard it.
Who knew that Sony still had the Walkman? And it's pretty dope. It's playing some high quality lossless audio. I need me one of these, man. Yo, Sony, how can I get the Walkman? So I'm in here and we're listening to Wayani's album right here on this Walkman. And this is not your old school Walkman, man. This is pretty fire. And it sounds really good. Wayani's voice is super powerful.
This is my new song, Promise Me. We start off, most of the time, Tony and I start off from scratch. We come up basically with an idea. He's like, hey, what do you want to talk about? I end up saying something wild. We talk for maybe about 20 minutes. He starts on an idea that I end up ultimately loving. And then we go into kickstart.
Writer, artist, they come in where if they have some kind of like sound direction that they want to chase after, like they'll kind of tell me about that, or if they just like went through a breakup or like seeing someone new, like, they'll kind of tell me some kind of stories about like what's going on in their life. And from there, I'll just kind of be listening, being like, okay, what does this story feel like sonically? Usually I start with chords, harmonically, like how can the music complement the story that they're telling,
And the first thing that Tony actually grabbed was the synths, these funky synths.
Oh, there we go. That? Okay. Yeah, so I just kind of came up with that sound. It's like an Opal UAD synth. And I just kind of kept that sound in the loop there. And then she was kind of in the back of the room coming up with like, okay, like what do these chords make me feel? What kind of story do I want to tell over this? And then she came up with like the lyrics and the melody and stuff over top of that.
I think the biggest challenge, I think it depends on the situation, but sometimes it's synergy. If you don't know the producer or other songwriters, you kind of want to make sure that you guys mesh well. What I appreciate about Tony is that he is very, analytical with how he starts songs. He'll start off with like a good melodic bass for me to go off of, and then he'll bring the drums in which then sends me into overdrive, and I'm like, oh crap, this is phenomenal. And he'll be like, oh, it's just a little something, and I'll be like, yeah, well, freaking, that's everything. Like, the song is done. Like, every time I tell him, I'm like, yo, the song is written, it's done. Give me a second, and I got it. So I'll end up writing with pen and paper and scribble out a whole bunch of BS until I get to the right part. And from that synth you heard, I ended up going, and then he went off of that and started the drums.
If I can get an idea of like what an artist's sound is before the session, I'll listen through all of their discography and then sometimes I try to listen for what I assume they're inspired by. So if someone has a kind of like 80s pop thing, I might listen to like, I don't know, some like Michael Jackson or whatever, and like see what kind of like drum sounds they're using and synths and stuff like that. And I'll put together those sounds before they even walk in the room. Okay. So that when I start playing one of those sounds, it might pique their ear a little bit and they'll be like, oh, that's cool.
So can you show them?
Yeah.
The drums?
Like, I think she had that melody first, and I was like, oh, that feels like a 4 on the floor-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe, and I've been just like really into house music at the time, so I was like, what if we did something like that? I just kind of had the drums in there with the synth and with the bass and everything, more of a 4 on the floor kind of thing. So that was like that big chorusy vibe, and then I was like, okay, we'll probably keep that same vibe but shrink it a little bit for
the verses.
Yeah. When we start on one direction with the song, we always want some kind of weird switch up to happen at some point.
But I think that's just like the ADHD going.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, yeah, it sounds like the same, but we need to have something that's there with it.
If they don't have an idea that they want to start with, and then they're just like sitting in the back of the room being like, okay, do something cool, you know? And then it's like all the pressure's on me to kind of like come up with something that I think they're going to like immediately. And if I'm not getting feedback from them, it feels like a lot of pressure, you know? But I think if you just allow yourself to kind of like relax and figure out what you're inspired by in that moment, then that eases that pressure a little bit.
I see you recording this in Pro Tools. Or do you do all your production in Pro Tools too?
Yes, please talk about your preference of DAW.
Every time someone asks me this, I have to have this like backstory of what I use, because I use Propellerhead Reason.
Okay, I know that.
You know Reason? Okay,
I know Reason.
Yeah, there you go, dude. I hate it kind of, but it's
No, you love it. Stop.
we have a love-hate relationship. It's like what I started on when I was a wee child, so I just got like, fast in
Exactly.
it. And I don't know, I'm always of the philosophy that just like use whatever has like the least amount of friction between the idea in your head and like getting it communicated.
Tony's one of the fastest producers to ever get anything down I've ever worked with. Ever. No, like again, I always say like I can communicate something to Tony and he'll get it 9 out of the 10 times. Yesterday was the 1 out of 10 for some reason.
Yeah,
I was like, he was like, I don't know what that means. I said, since when? Since when don't you know? Because I speak in like tiki tiki da cacao, tiki tiki da 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 da, and he's like, got it. And then he'll do it, and I'm like, perfect, it's done. And yesterday I was like, can we make it go? And he was like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, have we lost each other? I was like, have we lost each other? Have we lost the plot?
Duh.
Yeah. But then there are some magical moments that we talk about, the equipment. I think at the time we were using a SM7B.
To get the idea.
Yeah, to get the idea down. Because we were recording, we just put on the auto-tune on like crackhead high. And I was like, screw it. Because I normally don't use auto-tune in that way. But I was like, oh, this will be fun just for melody ideas. And because we had the speaker on and the mic on, what happens? Feedback. But because there was a lot of feedback, we ended up recording the feedback and put it into the song. And it was
like accidentally.
Accidentally, and it sounds awesome.
So you had a Bob Ross moment.
Kind of,
yeah.
The feedback was being run through her crazy auto-tune chain.
The perfect take feels good in your body. Like the perfect take also, you just know it. You can't explain it. Also, the people in the studio, they react a certain way when they're like, that was it. Live vocals, Pro Tools is great. I mean, with the live instruments, Pro Tools is great. However, it gets finicky, and I don't have time for her to get finicky. I don't need the CPU power overload. How? There's less on here than I had originally. How is that possible? So, yes, it's Logic. My room setup is, I don't have a monitor setup just because I have a huge window in front, but that's padded, and all my walls have corkboard on it, and it's carpet on the floor. I do have a kind of like a dome around all of my microphones just to make sure that any of that sound is padded. I'm trying to think what else I have.
The mic, so it's a U87 or C80 going into what from there?
Oh, it's going into an Apollo Twin Mark II. So every time that I'm using a plugin, I will normally like write down how I like it. Like I like CLA. Wait, I like how he has my vocals for the chain because I told him, I said, I'm not getting all the plugins that you have for my vocal chain. Right. Because his stuff is great. One of them is Valhalla.
Oh, yeah. Valhalla's on everything.
Valhalla!
You love that.
Valhalla! Yes, Bismillah. Yeah. Okay, Valhalla. Yes.
What processing do you do on your own before you send it off to him?
Okay, so most of the time when I'm sending anything off to producers, and as a songwriter, when you're sending off a demo or something, even if it's just a quick idea, what I like to do is I like to clean up any vocals with, like if I'm using flex pitch, if I cut something off too fast, I'll extend the note. Okay. Just that way I can, because people say, oh, you can send whatever, it'll be fine. No, I got to get you the idea fast because I know that your mind isn't that creative yet. Yeah. I hear it, but you don't see it the way I see it yet. So I'll send raw stems. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll send the vocal automation at the volume automation at times, but okay. Not every time, but I will export out maybe like, I want to say like at least 30 vocal stems. So people have options to have harmonies and not.
I will say it's not like final mix. So this is like my demo vocal mix. What I'll typically do is I'll have her come in right off, usually into like a gate and a de-esser, and just kind of like get those things cleaned up. I don't think I'm doing anything on this EQ.
What de-esser do you use?
Waves de-esser. Yeah, and then I usually have her hitting a double lock, this sound choice thing. Mm-hmm. Just like very, very lightly, just for like a little bit extra saturation.
And then I'm gonna CLA.
Yes. I will either do the CLA 2A or I'll do the T-Rex 1176. Yeah. There's a UAD Pultec.
What I like to have
that I'll use to kind of like brighten up like 10K and above on her sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then I'll usually have the DS again after that.
You guys get to listen down. Like my want is for me to at least walk away with a demo that I can listen to at least like 6-7 times in the car and be like, yeah, that's gas. Like that's like, if I don't want to listen to it, I know that I'm like, okay, I need to change a couple of things. But if I want to keep listening to it, to keep wanting to add on, I know it's been super successful. Also, when I've created new relationships in the studio, that's always really fun because you never know where that takes you. You need to go in thinking, all right, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna be open to, whatever is in front of me creatively. I'm gonna do what I have to do, but I'm also gonna stand my ground on the things that I want and don't want. And it takes practice. It's like a muscle that you grow. So don't feel discouraged if you're kind of like, I don't know how to build that confidence yet. It's like, well, keep going and you'll learn how to do it.
I really only think about the artist reaction. And if me and the artist are both listening back and we're like, this is dope, then that's a successful session to me. I want them like jumping around the room.
Yo, so I just walked out of Sony's session with Wayve, and what I learned is that you can make a hit record pretty much anywhere. You know, even though they have all of this amazing equipment, Sony equipment can be used in your home, and you can also use whatever you have to make the best records at the highest quality level, man. I love that Sony has that bridge between the creators and the consumers with their products, from the headphones having the same drivers and sound that of the studio headphones as they do in the consumer headphones. That's dope. And I even learned today that this video, even though I shot it on my iPhone, who knew that Apple uses Sony sensors and Sony chips in the iPhone cameras, man? So yeah, man, Sony has a whole ecosystem for creators and consumers and the whole pipeline. So even from the distribution down to the production, you can make it happen with Sony. Big shout out to everybody. They really laid it all out. This was an amazing event. I had a really dope time. Wayne.wav is an amazing vocalist and just a super talented person and nice in general, man. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Wavy Wayne. We at Sony in New York, and I'm out.
You wanna kiss the man that I'm kissing. Bet you wish that you could be in my position. Everybody knows where